He hasn't given it any details
Dude, he's very well read.
about
He's
Iran.
very
All he
well
said
read.
was some guy was there who was
Dude,
democratically
he's
elected,
very well read.
and we put the
No,
shot
he's right
on.
about
All he said
everything.
was some guy
No,
was there
that is all absolutely fucking
This is
true.
absolutely correct. Whatever he said, like I fucking know this thing, and
What, who
he's
cares
right.
if the guy's democratically elected? You know, fucking Castro. Castro came to power by the will of the people.
So
Well,
So
You
yeah,
should have
absolutely.
assassinated Castro right away.
Castro was not democratically elected, dude. That wasn't an election.
So you just don't give a shit about democracy or the sovereignty of foreign nations. You think that America could just swing its big dick around and do whatever the fuck it wants for its own interest, even if that means subverting
100%.
democracy.
Yes.
Even if okay, yeah. So that's already awesome.
yeah, see, this is where I think it's going. So there will be a point when some people would want healthcare and education pretty bad and wouldn't want wars at all, and then there will be these dicks who want wars at all costs. And at that time, we might be balkanizing. I'm pretty like sure some states will, secede. They'll say like, oh, we don't
So
want to.
instead of intervening in Iran or anywhere in the Middle East, let's pay $20 a fucking gallon for gas. Let's do that instead. Let's not form alliances and actually do stuff in the Middle East in the best interest of America. Let's just pay $20+ a gallon for
You
gas.
don't have to
Let's be
pillage
cut off.
like dudes.
Let's be cut off from petroleum and be totally subjugated to terrorist fucking nations.
So just because you want cheap gas, you are ready to
It's
kill
not just
innocent
cheap
people?
gas. It's a national security of America. It's not just gas in my gas tank.
So destroying
Our
other countries is
entire
national
armored
security of
fucking
America.
units. And you fucktards don't understand that concessions have to be made in the best interests of the security of America. You think you just sit back here and not intervene in a single fucking country in the world, and we're going to have fair trade deals across the board for all of our natural resources
Any trade
that
deal
our whole
with America.
economy fucking depends on. Our economy would go to a tailspin if we didn't have the deals that we have with Saudi Arabia. But you don't fucking understand anything about economics or about the world fucking market. You have to use military force.
So just because Americans need cheap gas, we need to start all these wars,
Even if
kill
that
innocent
means,
people.
in another fucking country around the world. Makes a lot of fucking sense. You guys are fucking clueless. You sit there and benefit from a capitalist society that has open trade deals with countries.
I hate capitalism, and I want that down along with it. Let's bring capitalism along with this thing.
Your life, we would be a third world fucking country if we weren't intervening.
You already are.
That is
you think you're not a third world, but you are.
Pakistan, Bronzy. Go back
Yes,
to Pakistan.
yes, America is a third world country, and I'm going to tell you why.
Pakistan,
Okay,
Bronzy.
America is a third world country.
Go back to Pakistan.
Like in every other nation, you have healthcare and I am
Hold on.
actually thinking
If
of
American
actually going back to Pakistan because at least people still think about what's good for you as a human being and not like how to make money. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that it's gonna kill you and your family. At least I'm making money off of it.
And then our fucking world markets, our fucking GDP, our fucking economy is just gonna fucking flourish on its own. You're fucking retards.
So I refuse to believe that American prosperity is predicated entirely on the destabilization, terrorism, and subjugation of other sovereign nations.
Every country in the Middle East is a terrorist nation. So
hold on. But I will say that if it is true that the only reason America is prosperous is because it's built upon the subjugation of other nations, then it's not fucking worth it as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm concerned about the human beings in Iran
and move to a
who
third
are
world country.
Absolutely.
who are basically
this is a problem.
basically dying because of American sanctions, who are dying
So
today.
he
because
has
of
no
American
problem
sanctions.
with that, right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Same with the Cuban people.
It is true. Like there really is no arguing because we have different axiomatic values, and because Iran is a more socially conservative country. He just doesn't really see value in those people, or he thinks that the American prosperity
You're upset with
is
the
more
Shah
important.
having secret police, but Iran going around killing their own fucking people every fucking day and locking them up. Oh, that's okay.
The Shah set the precedent for all of that.
Never
The Shah
intervened.
set the precedent for all of that.
That's
Hold on, the Shah set the precedent for all of that. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't like that before the Shah.
Okay, Jake, you're very
wasn't.
articulate. I think you should start talking about all these issues because you present them in easy language.
But this isn't
and you're
even
articulate.
new. You could talk. You could go to fucking college and take like a fucking Middle Eastern geography class or a Middle Eastern
I know I
history
understand
class,
that, but
and they will
I
tell
do.
you, and they'll tell you all of the same shit. Like this is common fucking knowledge. This is
And you
really,
know what?
really basic analysis.
Surprise, Downs
You're
has a
not looking at
history.
the larger implications of how it pertains
Downs
to
has
foreign
a
policy,
degree in history.
economy. You want to ignore all this shit
Here.
and look at it
Downs
as
has lied
black
to
and
me
white,
that he
black
has a
and white,
degree
black
in
and white,
history.
good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. You don't want to factor in the implications.
Wonton, it's
You're
can I
fucking clueless.
I'd just like to ask
Good
you,
or bad, good or bad, good or bad.
Wonton, I'd just like to ask you, how is it that everyone who proves you wrong is a retard, okay, and you're not, when you're the one being proven wrong by everyone else?
He didn't prove me wrong at all. He didn't talk at all about the economy or U.S. foreign policy. I mean, he clearly doesn't give a fuck about. He benefits off of the U.S. standard of living. Every fucking day, he has luxury items. He has money in his pocket. He has all these things as an American citizen, and he thinks that it's okay for him to continue to take all that shit while criticizing the methods behind it.
Yeah, but you still haven't even backed up your false claim that Iran threatened a nuclear attack on Israel.
Okay, you can go to Google and find it. Okay.
No, well, no. Your burden of proof lies with you're supposed to. You have burden of proof. Okay, I've asked you. You've put up these things. Okay, but nothing supports your claim. And I'll tell you right now. It's a fool's errand because that never happened. So
hold on. If the United States is able to rely on Saudi Arabia for petroleum today, then what the fuck was the point? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck was the point of taking out a democratically elected leader in the first place? Yeah. Like, if we can make it without Iran, then why did we fuck up Iran in the first place?
Yeah,
it's because listen. It's the socialism part that America fears more than anything.
But
whenever there is a leader,
but I'm guessing
that wants to get back to people.
So Down, are you telling me that you're okay with overthrowing the democratically elected leader in Chile and replacing him with
black and white,
Pinochet?
Black and white, good or bad, good or bad, black and white, black and white. I'm not going to play this game with you.
Oh,
you're playing on black and white, black and white, black and white.
I can't hear you.
There's no implications in the middle. There's no shade to gray with you. It's always black and white, black and white, black and white. Good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. That's not how foreign policy works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask y'all a question. So, Jake, do you think, and I like you all too, but I want to ask Jake as well, do you think that America is going to balkanize? Do you see that?
Balkanize? Oh, like Yugoslavia did?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No. I mean, there's two...
the states would just become independent instead of being United States of America.
And,
see, I don't know. I think you could maybe say that, but if you look at I don't think that there's enough of an ideological divide, because the ideological divide is mostly generational. You know what I mean? You can even look at Texas, it's becoming more and more blue.
Okay, so I want you to explain
what
your foreign policy, Jake. So the U.S. will never intervene in any country's elections ever. That's what you want, right?
Yes.
Okay, then you're an isolationist. Congratulations.
An isolationist?
Wait, an isolationist would be super anti international trade and shit like that too, right?
Yeah, self-reliance is isolationist.
I mean, I guess you can say I'm an anti-interventionist,
but
that's different from being
can't be for international trade but be an anti-interventionist. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, Sure thing.
You're not going to get very far, and also Wonton, Fidel Castro was not democratically elected. Like you were drawing a comparison, where we're talking about democratically elected people, and
that's true. It's true that he wasn't democratically elected, but he did and does and always has had.
He overthrew a dictator.
Overwhelming support of the Cuban people.
The puppet, right? The American puppet, okay, fascist dictator that was being supported by the United States, right? Because the United States is, the famous expression is, he may be a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch, right? Mm-hmm. Which, America has a very, very, very long history of, this sort of hypocrisy while, supporting, right-wing fascist, brutal dictators and saying, if anyone else does that, if someone does that supporting the left, it's the most evil thing in the world. Meanwhile,
mm-hmm. Hi. So, Lyser, do you see U.S. ever going to balkanize or not?
Yeah, I would say no as well.
So I have a question for you. All three of you all agree on what America should or shouldn't do. So this is basically an echo chamber for you three to pat yourself on the back. Do you want to change the topic to something else? I'm glad that you all agree on this topic, and that I don't.
Well, so you can join the echo chamber. Right? The requisite is that we actually speak the truth.
Mm-hmm. And
if you're truthful, then you're part of our echo chamber too.
And I will say this down. Like the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying isn't just because I think it's immoral. I think that it's made the world a genuinely less safe place. There would be no if I will say that if the United States didn't overthrow Mohammed Masada in Iran, there would be no 9/11. Like, and I could prove that. Like, I know that for a fucking fact.
There's no excuse for 9/11 happening from the Middle East. I don't care what we did in the Middle East. There's no excuse for it.
I mean, sure. I mean, whatever. Like, there's no excuse for it, right? But the United States, its intervention does have consequences. I'm not excusing it, but I am saying that, like, they didn't do it for no reason. And if we didn't give them a reason to, then they wouldn't do it.
They did it. They did do it for no reason. There is no reason for doing it.
It's not terrorism if it's done for no reason. It's done for a very precise reason, actually. And which they completely explained. And what they explained, the reason they were doing it for, is exactly what Jake is speaking out against, right?
It's more so of a chain reaction, right? Because by overthrowing Mohammed Masada and putting in the Shah, that triggered the 1979 revolution. The 1979 revolution triggered the Iran-Iraq War. The Iran-Iraq War caused Saddam to go in a bunch of debt. That caused him to invade Kuwait. Invading Kuwait caused American soldiers to go on U.S. soil.
Man, you got a really jaded view. Now you want to blame America for Saddam going into Kuwait. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, let's blame America for Hitler killing 6 million Jews as well.
Hold on. The reason why Saddam went into Kuwait is because he racked up a bunch of war debt. And I'll say he does kind of have a point, right? Because it wasn't like he was fighting a war for all of the Sunnis. All of the Sunnis supported the war, but Iran had to take all of the losses and take up all the debt fighting it, even though all the other Gulf countries supported it, but they didn't actually support him in sending troops or, and helping him out with the money. So, I mean, his reasoning was like, hey, I fought this fucking war for you guys. Why should I have to take up all this debt? And that's why he invaded Kuwait. But what I'm saying is that the Iran-Iraq War wouldn't have fucking happened if there wasn't a 1979 revolution, and there wouldn't have been a 1979 revolution if we didn't put the Shah in. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's this huge chain reaction. The United States.
So let me tell you. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this democratically elected leader that you want to praise so much. Okay, let me tell you about this guy.
Who?
Why don't you read what I just put in the chat there? Because you want to praise this guy as being so democratically elected, such a great fucking guy. if that's the case, why did he take on emergency powers where he was more powerful than any other branch of government, and he was going around doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do?
Probably,
It's
to
so
combat.
fucking idiotic. You guys don't even read history and find out
Well, if you
why
let
the
me
Shah.
speak.
Why the Shah?
Look, why are you asking questions if you won't
Shut
let
the
people
fuck
answer
up,
them?
Serge. I'm not talking to
No,
you.
I'm not shutting up. Look, you asked a question.
Shut up!
I'm more
I'm
than
not
happy to
talking
answer
to you.
your question.
You know, you go on and on and
You're
on and
answering your
on
own
and ramble.
question.
That
No,
this
I'm
guy
not
is
the
such
one
a
going on and on and on. You
democratically
are.
elected leader. Why
When
does a
you ask a
democratically
question,
elected leader have
you
to
allow
take
people to
on
respond to your question. No,
dictatorial
you're just
powers
talking over me.
over every other branch of government?
Look,
Why
look,
is
you know
it
how to
that
share the floor and
you
have a
raise this guy
mature
and
adult
fucking
discussion
put him
with
on a fucking pedestal, and you don't even know the fucking history that you speak of? Give me a
I mean, wait. So
When
you're
you ask-
saying, hold on.
I'm
So
more than
you're
happy
saying
to
that the
answer.
reason why we
Oh, he's
took out
on
the
mute.
Shah is because he was undemocratic? Because that's not fucking true at all. The reason why we did
That
it
is
was to
true at
secure
all.
our
And it
oil
showed you that
interests.
he's undemocratic. If
You
you
know,
have
people-
complete and total power over a fucking country,
Look,
that's
leaders
totally
enact
undemocratic.
these things.
There's still
okay,
elections,
in order
though.
to
I mean, we still-
combat these American supported insurrections and regime changes and stuff, right? Because you kind of gotta, right? When you
I
have
mean, I didn't see the Shah have any elections, but there were. But I mean, if we would have waited, I'm sure there would be another election cycle within Iran under Mohammed Mossadegh. I didn't see any elections under the Shah. And also that Iran, it's not like the U.S. took him out because
I don't
they were
care what
concerned
good
about.
things you're going to say the guy does, but somebody takes more power out of the entire government and has more power because of some dictatorial fucking emergency power decree. I'm not for that ever. I don't care what good he does with that. That's not right.
Do you think the United States?
You have to do it properly. The balance of powers. I believe in that. That's a democracy.
There were insurgencies.
From everybody else.
CIA was like helping the
If you gave a shit about democracy,
I don't care what good things he was doing. The way he went about it is dictatorial. It's bullshit.
Hold on. Do you think that the reason why the United States and Britain took him out is because they were concerned about him abusing dictatorial power?
By the way, the guy resigned.
Answer.
The guy resigned, and
because we made him.
The Shah reappointed
have a reasonable conversation.
The Shah that you claim is such a horrible person. The Shah that you claim is such a horrible person reappointed him.
Fucking whatever. I'm asking you a question.
No,
do you think that the reason
you don't fucking understand history? You claim to know all this history because you took a fucking course in college, but you don't know the background of this guy before the Shah, and you want to blame the Shah for all these problems.
Do you think that the United States took out Mohammed Mossadegh because they were concerned about him abusing dictatorial power?
That's not what I said. I'm talking about the Shah.
Hold on. Okay, so I understand what you're saying.
I'm talking about why the Shah wanted him gone. I don't give a fuck about America. We're talking about why the Shah right now.
Hold on. If that's the reason why the Shah wanted him gone, then why did he do the same fucking thing when he was in power?
Why would the Shah have the exact same policy as the other guy? No two politicians have the exact same policy.
There's he didn't have the same
in
policy,
America who's ever going to have the same policy as Obama. There's nobody in America who's ever going to have the same policy as Trump. Different politicians have different policies. Why the fuck would he mirror the exact policy of the fucking guy?
I'm not saying that he mirrored the same policy. I'm saying that he governed as a dictator and that he didn't allow for any elections. So if
this guy governed as a dictator as well, what's your point?
What I'm saying is, what if you're saying that the reason why the Shah wanted him gone was because of some virtuous advocacy for democracy and
I didn't say advocacy for democracy. I said that this guy subverted every other branch of government's power, including the Shah. The Shah was a branch of government while this guy was in power. This guy was only prime minister. They had a monarch even when this guy was prime minister. You don't know your fucking history again. This is so retarded.
And a monarch?
I mean, you were kind of making it seem like, the reason why the Shah wanted him out was because he was abusing power. But that's obviously not true because the Shah also abused power. So he obviously didn't really give a shit about that. And I mean, say what you want about the other guy. At least he was democratically elected. The Shah wasn't. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know, allow the Iranian people to make their own decisions, and don't fuck with them. And if you're so fucking concerned about Iran, you know, being dictatorial and blah blah blah, then like, why are you cool with Saudi Arabia? Because they're fucking worse. Like, Saudi Arabia is stricter about the hijab and all of that than Iran is. Did he leave?
I like some of the policies that this guy enacted. He tried to end the aristocratic feudal type system they had against peasants. That's good. I don't like how he got total dictatorial power and then went around changing things. I don't want Bernie Sanders to be president and then have more power than Congress and be able to shut Congress down and shut down the fucking judicial branch and just be able to be a fucking god and enact whatever laws he wants to enact, even if they're good laws. I don't want that.
The Shah did the same fucking thing. So you
he did do the same fucking thing as a monarch. It's what monarchs do. The point I'm making is that you put this guy on a pedestal and said he was democratically elected. He was so democratic. He was democratic. Bullshit.
You're an atheist, right?
Bullshit.
You know, like you know, that's the thing is, you know, I don't understand why, you know, you would try and argue, you know, where, you know, like you've got the secular, you know, most of the day was, you know, like secularist and all that, and you
I don't know
Shah
what he was. I don't know enough about him.
Right, that's the religious, right? They're again. This is like, you know, about religious.
So Mossadegh was secular, but he was directly intertwined with the. Hang on, I'll tell you what he was intertwined with.
The parliament.
That's not accurate. It's not secular. The guy was balls deep with the crazy Islam people.
Okay. So here we're getting somewhere. So you don't really give a shit about, you know, whether or not someone's a dictator or not. You really just give a shit about how religious or secular they are.
That's part of it. That's part of it as well. That I'm not defending the Shah across the board. I'm making the point though that you want to talk shit on the Shah and put up the other guy as if he was fucking like so nice.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
He was democratically elected. That's bullshit.
He was democratically elected. I mean,
yeah,
you could criticize.
Power. He fucking became a dictator. He became a dictator. Thank you.
You could criticize the way he governed, but he was still democratically elected.
Hey, Peter, we're having a discussion. We're having a discussion, and according to Jake, America should never intervene. America should never intervene when a country democratically elects somebody. America has no right to ever intervene ever. That's his take on things. He doesn't understand how his standard of living comes about or how our economy comes about. He thinks that America can just sit here and never intervene in any countries ever, and somehow we're still going to maintain our economy the way it is.
So, I mean, the Ayatollah created a society that was, you know, more socially conservative, more religious, and less secular than the society that came before the Shah, right? So they actually went fucking backwards. Like, they went backwards. We could have avoided that. We could have avoided them going backwards. They could have, you know, progressed on their own, you know, more gradually if we didn't fuck with their sovereignty. That's like a really sad thing. So if you really give a shit about, you know, Iran being a more secular country and being less religious, you know, it looks like our little plan to overthrow that leader kind of backfired and resulted in a even more like hyper religious society.
Yeah, it probably did backfire, but you know, you're looking at it 45 plus years later and criticizing everything, saying that they should have done this, they should have done that. They, you know, they wouldn't have known that back then. You know, Peter, what do you think of the whole Iran thing? Because I was happy that the Shah was in power. Jake's saying that the Shah was the worst thing to happen in Iran. So what's your take on that?
Well, the thing is, I only met a few people when I was in Iran, but I actually went to a few people's homes. And this is in 1981. So, you know, it was very early on with, Khomeini, taking power. And, you know, anyway, these people still have, these people still had.
I'm sorry, Peter. Okay, just
Yo, shut the fuck up and let him talk. He's right in the middle of a fucking sentence. Let him finish.
No, look. You're
Let him
directing
finish the fucking sentence.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
I
I'm
want to hear what he
letting
has
him.
to say. Shut
For
the
me
fuck
first.
up.
Okay, I'm speaking
Shut
to
up.
you. No, you need to listen.
He's right in the middle of a fucking sentence, you impulsive fuck. Let him
Yes,
finish the sentence.
because you went to ask him, okay, but I'm addressing what you said previously, where you don't seem
He's
to understand.
fucking talking, you fucking sped. Let him finish talking.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's all right. Let him finish.
Yeah, but I legit want to hear what you have to say because I'm curious to know what
you were
you found
wrong.
out. This sped won't shut the fuck up.
Okay, listen, you were wrong again, and I want to correct you on it so that you understand. Okay? Now
you're not going to correct me on anything. I'm going to interrupt you the way you interrupt him. So I'm not going to listen to a word he's saying.
It says
I
right here.
sat back to let him talk. He was talking. You interrupted him. So I'll just interrupt you.
That most of the day was religious.
We'll for 5 fucking hours.
You're the one. Listen, you are the one.
You. No one's going to fucking listen.
You are the one.
Their fucking sentence.
No, this is look. You were wrong, and I'm correcting you.
No, you're not going to correct anything.
I will.
You're not going to correct anything because Peter is fucking talking.
You want to bet? I'm doing it right now.
No,
okay, you're throwing a tantrum, and you need to calm down.
Over and over. We'll do this all fucking night.
Listen, okay, Most of the day is regarded as the leading champion.
Okay,
no, you were trying to say that he was religious. Okay, and like I said, I asked if you were an atheist, and you went quiet, and now you won't stop talking because you're throwing a tantrum.
You can't finish your sentence. Not going to allow it.
Can you please try to control yourself?
Fucking sentence. Can't do it.
So
not going to allow it. Not going to allow you to finish your sentence. I'm going to treat you the way you treat other people.
Most of the day, I told him, no, you're not treating me like I was treating other people because I told him he's more than welcome to go ahead. I just want to explain to you.
Not going to allow it.
You're wrong again.
Not going to allow it. Not going to allow it. Not going to allow you to finish your sentence. Not going to allow it. Not going to allow it.
Well, you're being a
fucking. Not going to allow you to finish your sentence. Not going to allow it.
Look.
Allow it.
Look, it's simple. You're not going to allow me to speak.
Not going to allow it. No, Peter should be allowed to speak, and he won't.
I said, Peter is allowing me to interject here.
Every fucking time I come in here, somebody else is talking. You impulsively interrupt them, and I'm fucking tired of it.
Well, look. You went